it's my turn. Come on.
You can't, out of my cold dead fingers.
Out of my cold dead fingers.
Oh, come on. Come on. It's like,
hi.
hello. Hi. Yeah.
Welcome.
Sorry.
Welcome.
Yeah, well, we're fighting over the VW GTI, and,
Well,
you know what? It's a car worth fighting over.
Why wouldn't we be fighting over it? I mean, when you think about how far back it goes, and to taking it back to the days of the original pocket rockets, as we like to call them. So,
this one puts the rocket in pocket rocket. Holy cow! 200 horsepower, 207 pound-feet of torque. This thing just flies.
Well, and again, something that we've also noticed in regards to automatics, because of course this one is equipped with the DSG. Now normally we're pretty upset when we don't get a third pedal in something like this, but the DSG really makes up for it.
Under the hood of the VW GTI is a 2-liter turbocharged direct injection 4-cylinder engine.
And what I like about it too is that even though it's a little bit of a tight fit, there's still access to some of your key components. I mean, I can actually make out the alternator, plus look at the top mount oil filter. So for serviceability, this is definitely not going to be cramping your style when it comes to the pocketbook. But of course, let's get back to the engine. It really is the right balance. You know, a lot of people get horsepower on the brain and they basically think that I gotta have more, but you also have to have balance, and that's exactly what the GTI has, especially in this configuration, being a 5-door.
Well, in a car like this, more isn't better.
No, because the thing is, what you're going to end up with is going to be a lot of unusable torque steer. We think of cars, say for example, like the Mazda Speed 3. That's almost got too much. And in fact, if I got to put them up against each other, this is the one I would choose.
The Mazda Speed 3 has so much power, it's almost unrefined.
Unfortunately so. But with something like this, especially with the extra rigidity of the 5-door, this is the one that I love to scoot through the pylons with.
And when you hit the gas on this one, you get a kick to the backside, your head goes back, you know you got some power in front of you.
Let's take a look inside and show them exactly how comfortable that backside is.
You know, the first thing that strikes me about the interior of the GTI is just how much it feels like an Audi.
Well, there's definitely the fit and finish to all of the aspects of the trim in here. A lot of soft touch materials as well. But you know, the one thing that really gets my attention is seats that are meant for driving. Now look at the generous bolsters that are put into the GTI seats.
They hug you.
They totally hug you. Now the material, I know it kind of looks like Bill Haley's jacket from 1951. Love it or leave it, but I think it's that kind of quirky thing that has made the GTI as famous as it is. Take a look at the 3-spoke wheel, flat bottomed, very easy to access, the proper thumb locators, and the controls on the steering wheel itself. They're not in a way that you're going to be accidentally bumping into them during spirited driving. And also the DSG also has the proper floor manual gate. Now what drives me nuts is some guys go and take a manual gate and like, what's the obvious thing you're going to be doing? If you want to shift up, you want to push it up. And some guys actually reverse it, but Volkswagen has kept this proper. Simply pop it forward for an upshift, simply tap it back for a downshift.
Up for up and down for down. Your logic is inescapable.
Let's talk about the room that exists within the cargo area of the Volkswagen GTI. And you know what? I think Kelly is actually working on his mantra right now.
Room.
Hey Kelly, how's it going?
Room.
You know, I'm sorry to interrupt your mantra.
Oh, hi, yeah.
But wanted to ask you a little bit about the cavernous size here that you've got in this particular 5-door GTI.
Well, you know, it's not huge back here, but there is a lot of space for the size of the vehicle that it is. They've pushed out the walls as far as they could on every spot that they could.
Yep, there's some good space there.
And I could fit in it, so hey.
Well, not only that, but there's also additional areas in here for cargo area cleats to tie down cargo netting or any sort of cargo containment. You've got 12-volt DC power back here.
And don't forget the pass-through. You want to leave the seats up, there is a pass-through. You got longer items like skis or, in my case, hockey sticks.
Cargo area cover, keep out pry bar eyes.
There you go.
And what I like about this hatch is it's got 2 proper pull downs to make it easy for closing the hatch, especially when it's dirty.
Now, if you could just close it up again, I want to get back to my meditation.
No problem. Here's this great pass-through I was telling you about a little bit earlier. So you definitely got a lot of room here if you want to put through long items such as hockey sticks or skis. Close that up. pull it down, and you've also got a very nice armrest with cup holders. Spring-loaded, by the way, so these actually hang on to the cups. I really like to see that type of feature.
You know, one area that gets overlooked a lot in cars is the glove box. A lot of people think that it's just for gloves. Well, how many times have you driven with driving gloves? So what Volkswagen has done is actually kind of neat. You open it up, you look at the back here, there's a little dial. You can actually dial in to have air conditioning go into your glove box to help keep things like water or drinks cold when you're driving. Well, you know, the GTI is such a fun car to drive, and what I come back to every time is it feels like a sports car, and then I turn around and there's 4 seats and cargo space.
You know, when it comes to this kind of money, you have to remember that for a lot of people, spending this much, even for a toy, that's a pretty tough call. So as much as you could get into things like Mazda MX-5s, at this point, you still have that practical little gremlin sitting inside your head saying, I know you want to have some fun, but don't you have a life too?
Don't you have kids? Don't you have hockey bags to move? And the other thing I like about the GTI is that it comes in either 3 doors or 4 doors, like 5 doors like the one we have.
You know, I have to say that if it's my choice, I'm going with the 4-door. The first time I experienced it back in '06, I found that the rigidity of that 4-door makes all the difference when you're putting it through some very serious cornering.
Yeah, so $28,995 to start with the GTI, with the manual transmission, at about $1,500 for the DSG. It's not bad money for a car.
You know, for about $30,000, what can you really get that's going to give you this much fun?